What do most people get wrong about photography? Some people think you need to be talented to be a great photographer. Others think you just need to practice over and over again. Then there are some people who will theorize on how to create the perfect conditions to take a photo, only to fail when they go and take the photo. So what is it that most people get wrong about photography, and what can you do so that you don't fall into this trap? If you're new here, my name is Chris Pieta. I run a production company and I teach creative business here on YouTube. I want to start this video with a story I heard. I read this first in Atomic Habits and it made me reflect on my journey and how I found the success that I have. There was this professor at the University of Florida who taught film photography. On the very first day of class, he divided the class in half and told one half that they would be graded on the quantity of their work, and he told the other half that they would be graded on the quality of their work. He told the quantity group that they are responsible for taking 100 film photos this semester. On the last day of class, he'd count all the photos, and if they take 100, they'll get an A, if they take 90, they'll get a B, if they take 80, they'll get a C, and so on. Then to the quality group, he told them that they only had to produce one photo during the semester, but this photo needed to be the absolute best photo and it had to be nearly perfect. At the end of the semester, a funny thing happened. The quality group spent the semester theorizing on what would make the best photo and looking at other great photos that they could draw inspiration from. They were thinking of how to achieve perfection. Meanwhile, the quantity group spent the semester experimenting and taking photos. They were in the field learning all about composition and lighting and practicing their craft on a daily basis. They were able to test out various different methods and learn what worked and what didn't work. The professor was surprised to see that all the best photos came from the quantity group. The quantity group didn't have the assignment of taking the perfect photo, yet all the best ones came from this group. While the quality group was speculating about perfection, quantity group was out there practicing and honing their craft. So how does this apply to you as a content creator? You need to put in the reps. You need to hit post even when you don't think that that photo is perfect. Through the repetition, you will learn. But if you sit back and dwell, you'll be stuck forever. When I was trying to get better at photography in 2019, I made it a goal of mine to post a photo every day on Instagram. I didn't make it a goal to get better at photography. I didn't make it my goal to take perfect photos. I made it my goal to hit post every day. Some days the photos weren't that great. Some days the photos were amazing. I wasn't concerned about how good they were. I was obsessed with the process. It's always been about the process. Putting in the reps every single day was what mattered. When I was commuting to my 9 to 5, I always had a camera on me when I was on the train and when I was walking. I was really busy back then, but I didn't make an excuse. I found an opportunity to take photos and that's what I did. Throughout that year, I learned so much about lighting principles and composition. I learned patience and timing. I learned how to be a master behind the camera. And this all came as a result of putting in the reps. I've known people that obsess over doing things perfectly, and if they're not perfect, they won't do them at all. I've seen this story play out firsthand time and time again. I have friends that spend so much time trying to think of the perfect project, and when that project comes to fruition, they're disappointed it doesn't get the praise they think it deserves, and they give up, repeating this vicious cycle all over again. The problem with this thinking is that the thing isn't going to be perfect the first time around. It's not going to be perfect the 10th time around. It takes a lot of repetition and practice to find success. This is also exactly how my YouTube channel grew. Recently, I've had a lot of people saying that I'm YouTube famous and I've made it on the platform, and they ask me how I did it. From day one, I had a plan, and I have not strayed from that plan since I started. I'm basically doing the same thing now that I did on day one. What's my plan? It's to post at least one video a week and never skip a week. I've stayed true to this since January 2021. I have never missed a week of posting. I've recently crossed the 100 video mark too. Why did I pick this strategy and why did I think it would be effective? I took advice from those that were more successful than me. I remember watching Ali Abdaal and other big YouTubers with hundreds of thousands of followers, and they all said the same thing. Post at least once a week for years and you will grow. That's it. That's the formula. How boring is that? Very. No one wants to do it because it's hard work. And that's why people will succeed on this platform and others will fail. Just like that quantity group, I got better over time by simply doing the reps. My first video sucked. I talked in a monotone, I had this deadpan stare at the camera, the lighting was off, the color grading was off, but I hit publish. And from then on, I learned with each video I made. Things slowly started to improve over time because I was putting in the reps. What I didn't do was dwell and theorize on what would make the perfect video. I did the work and I evaluated what I put out, and then I improved upon that every single week. Now this channel is at 12,000 subscribers and the secret is out in the open. All you need to do is post consistently. Let me tell you one more story and then we'll talk about setting goals in a way that you'll be successful. When I was learning about running your own creative business and the freelance life, one common thing kept popping up over and over again: sales. People would tell me, if you want to start your own business, you need to learn how to sell. Sales scared me. All throughout school, I was a shy kid who never spoke in class. How was I going to learn to become a salesperson? Luckily for me, my fear of working a 9 to 5 forever was stronger than my fear of selling. So I learned sales. I learned how to email people asking for sales calls. I learned how to take sales calls. I learned the structure of the call, the questions to ask, how to keep it laid back, and how to get people to pay me money for my services. This was all really hard. I took a lot of calls early on and none of them ended up with closed deals, but I didn't give up. Just like I got better at photography by putting in the reps, I knew this would be the same thing with sales. On each call, I got slightly better. I learned from my mistakes. I learned how to pitch and ask the right questions, and after 3 or 4 months of discovery calls, I closed my first deal. I did it. I learned how to sell. And from then on, it became way easier because I had the proof that I could do this. I had the proof that someone wanted to pay me for my service. Putting in the reps is the only way you're going to learn a new skill. So, how do we set goals that will lead us to our success? Let's take that sales example and break it down. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming you're trying to learn how to grow your creative business. In order to do that, you need to make money. By the way, I've got a creative business newsletter that goes out every week. It's got over 1,000 people subscribed to it, link down below. The way you've been probably taught to set goals goes something like this. You have an outcome that you want to achieve in a certain period of time. With sales, let's say you want to do $10,000 in sales this quarter. This goal is specific and locked to a certain time frame. The problem is that the goal isn't 100% in your control. What you want is to break down this goal into its base components. How do we make 10 grand? By having clients sign proposals. How do we have clients sign proposals? By having sales calls with them. How do we get sales calls? By cold emailing clients. How do we cold email? By writing emails. And just like that, we've reached the base component of sales. It's cold email. So if you want to make 10 grand this quarter, your goal shouldn't be to make 10 grand. Your goal should be centered around doing the reps. In this case, going to be sending out cold emails. Our new goal can become send 10 cold emails every day this quarter. This goal becomes something that's 100% in your control. I want you to do this with all your goals. If you want to gain 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, your goal should be to upload a new video every week. If your goal is to get better at product photography, your goal should be take 5 product photos every day. All of us want to make progress. The only way to move forward is to put in the reps. You can't control the outcome, but you can put in the reps. There's always something that you can control. You might be wondering what my goals are these days. They're pretty simple. Each day I aim for 1 hour of uninterrupted writing time, 1 hour of sales, and 3 hours of production. Writing allows me to create YouTube scripts and build my course. Sales generates my business revenue, and production fulfills on my promises to my clients. Each of these goals helps me get better by putting in the reps. Obviously, each day has way more in than those 5 hours of work, but if I can get that work in every day, I know that I will have gotten 1% better. Thank you for watching. I've got a video right here that I know you'll love, and I want you to start putting in the reps today.